Hey, it's Ethan with ComTech. So now in episode 5, we're moving right through this whole series. If you haven't seen the other pieces in this series, please look below in the description. We'll have all of the links for the entire series. But this one's going to be the online communication tool. So you guys have probably seen these two logos with Microsoft Teams and maybe Slack. Again, if you're using those, still hang on, still watch this video. Hopefully you'll pick up a couple of tips. So as you guys know, if you've been watching this series, we're going to go through this exact same thing as far as our agenda. So the name of this tool, I use Microsoft Teams. I also use Slack. Zoom has a chatting mechanism in it. Of course, Discord's a little bit different, but it has a good bit of chatting in there and online collaboration. As far as price goes, there's a lot of different options. A lot of what we see our clients use, because we're primarily Microsoft shop, so we support a lot of clients that use Microsoft. We see a lot of them using what's included in their Microsoft license, which is Microsoft Teams. But you can pay up to $20 a month or something around there for some advanced features. Again, if you've heard any of my other videos, I'm not against that. There's a lot of really cool advanced features, but for most users, either free or what's included in your Microsoft license will be fine. So if you haven't heard of this online collaboration tools, then what it does is it allows you to chat either internally or externally, do video calls, meetings, record meetings, share files, put some status messages in there if you're away temporarily from your desk. So a lot of really interesting things. Before I go to this area right here of this demo, I want to highlight that a lot of our clients, when we first tell them about something like Microsoft Teams, a lot of our clients say, hey, we're smaller, I don't know, we're internal, we're really tight-knit, we only have 5 people or something, and those 5 people can just yell at each other through the walls. We don't need an internal chatting system. I would recommend still paying attention to this demo and still looking at it. At least consider it, give it a chance. It has a lot of really good features, especially if you have anyone that is ever even gonna have a chance of working from home. That changes the dynamic completely, and you may need an online collaboration tool like this. So now I'll go over to that demo video and show you how I use Microsoft Teams.
Hey there. So I want to do a very, very brief overview of Microsoft Teams. As Ethan said in the video, you can definitely use something like Slack. You can use Zoom actually has a feature in it now. So there's lots of different other ones, but I'm just going to use Teams as this example because that's the one we personally use here at ComTech. So obviously there is a bunch of chats that you can select in here. Once you select a chat, you'll have the ability, I'll actually select one and I'll show you. You have the ability, of course, to chat. You have the ability to go up here and schedule a meeting with that person. So if you pull this up, you can click scheduling assistant and you'll see that person's schedule. So you'll have the ability to schedule that. There's lots of different options. You can record the meeting automatically. So very, very beneficial for just chatting back and forth. I still hear a number of people who say, hey, we may be too small for this. We don't need an internal chatting system. It does much more. My response to that is it does much more than chat. It just depends on how you use it. Now, obviously, you guys aren't seeing all of my chats that I have here because I've got them blanked out, but we use it consistently all day long. The next thing is you do have the ability, of course, to click on Teams, and then you can see all of your different team channels, which is very, very nice. As you get larger or the organization grows or even just spreads out in general and responsibilities spread out, it's nice to have one place where maybe all of my on-site technicians can go to ask questions of their fellow on-site members, and they can have their own meetings, they can have their own recordings, that sort of thing. So very, very beneficial in general. The next thing I'll show you is the status messages, which is up here in the top right. If you click here, you have the ability to set a status message. Now, if you're sitting there going, well, hey, why wouldn't I just use my Outlook autoresponder, that sort of thing? You certainly could. What I'm talking about when I'm giving this example is primarily, let's say I have a doctor's appointment or I have a sick kid and I need to deal with them for the next hour. Well, typically you're not going to go and set up an Outlook autoresponder saying, I'm dealing with my sick kid, internally, I'm dealing with my sick kid, I'll be back in an hour. But it's very easy if you have a system like this, so where when people go to message you, they can say, oh, he's dealing with a sick kid or whatever it may be. So it's for those quick status messages. You can use it for that more long-term message if you need to, but of course you don't have to. So very beneficial. The final thing I'll show you is I keep mentioning the recordings. So here at ComTech, all of our management meetings, all of our big company meetings, we record every single one of them, and they all go directly back into here. So it records it automatically, puts it right into here. That way new members can go and watch the previous quarterly meetings, or if we had a big meeting where we were doing a bunch of training, it's all in here. So if you just click the Stream app, which is the internal kind of Microsoft YouTube essentially. So you have the ability to go into there. And then of course you do have the ability to see your own OneDrive files, which is something I'll do in another video. But your OneDrive files is where all your documents and everything should be stored if it's done properly, or a system like that. So hopefully this is a good overview of why you should potentially use Microsoft Teams or a chatting type system like that. It's very, very beneficial, especially as everybody continues to work from home. If you have, if you want to know more about this, or you feel like you want to dig a bit deeper, you can go to YouTube, go out, type in ComTech Network Solutions. You should see this guy here. If you go to the videos and you type in Teams, I actually have 4 videos. I've got one here using Microsoft Teams with examples, and then I've got 3 webinars that I did, and check those out. I don't know why that Yay-Link video is in there. Evidently YouTube really wants you to watch that too. But if you check those out, those are more specific examples of exactly how we are using Teams here at ComTech. With that, I'll hand it back to Ethan.
All right, so in that video, I went over a number of things. There are also, which I will link in the description, a number of webinars that I did years ago on Microsoft Teams. If you want to do a little bit of a deeper dive, I go into it, I think, for an hour. It's hard to believe I can talk for an hour on one tool, but I absolutely can. So look in the description for that. If you have any questions, you know where to find us. Leave a comment below. We'd love to hear from you.